The legendary Dark Magician leaping back into action. We have Volcanics, and we've also got Synchropile. Make sure you guys smash the link crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Seeing the evolution of Dark Magician every week, I think has just been such a cool finding and such a cool thing to just kind of see as the progression of the meta goes. And obviously, you know, being able to pull back Dark Magician off of the link to being able to have access, you know, some of the more generic plays is what makes this deck especially good. And also Dark Magical Curtain allowing you to bridge into, you know, a Gaze of Timaeus and a Vanilla Monster to basically just start off your combo lines is absolutely insane. And I really got to give it to Konami. Like, they have found a very strong way to do things. I do like the list playing Dark Magic Attack, which is hilarious. And we do have access to, you know, the Primite package in here, which is fine. It gives you some navigation to be able to work with, which is a little bit interesting to say the least. So definitely a good starter pile for ideas. Next up here, we have Volcanic Radiant Typhoon. Now, this actually did very, very decently well in an OCG tournament, which is kind of surprising, actually, because I feel like the Volcanic package in this current day and age has just been kind of power crept into oblivion. But when you can Dark Magical Curtain, basically get a spellcaster set up, warp into the ever so famous Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and have Dragoon be an end board piece for you, well, that's kind of the golden standard now of what you're expecting within the lines of the meta. Now, I mean, does that mean that it's good? No, not particularly, but I do have to give some credit to some people, man. Seeing the different innovation lines, the different strategies, and seeing something like Volcanics being able to be used like this was definitely not on my initial bingo sheet for things. Also, shout out to Prohibition and Sales Ban in the side deck so you can get the job done. Next up is the Synchropile. Now, we are really just kind of watching this pile evolve as time goes on. I think it's been probably one of the more interesting decks to kind of see working out recently because, you know, synchroing up into just a crap ton of metric boss monsters was always like the Yu-Gi-Oh player's dream from back in the day, especially when you saw Yusei, you know, rev it up and getting the chance to see all of those different power cards kind of coming together. That was the one thing that we always dreamed of back in the day. And obviously, you know, this list isn't playing Synchro Emergency. You're kind of taking a little bit more of that step away from that. But having Synchro Emergency be a pivotal point that you can shift between, I just think it's really cool to see the differences in the builds existing right now. The fact that we can have these different lists showcasing the ideas just to be able to work with. Also, you know, the Blazing Dominion support in here and the new spell cards. Excellent. Next up is Cool Tunes. Now, this list got second place. The next list you're going to see is going to be a first place finish of the exact same tournament. But in terms of Cool Tune, this is going to be probably the most basic list you're going to have. Also keep in mind, Harmonium, the new hand trap, does so much in this deck. You know, you're able to have access to Patbic, Malong, and Wind Pegasus, of which are all going to be great extra resources for you to be able to play with and kind of combo up into the lines that you're going to want them to be used for. And I think that that does kind of help out. You also do see that we are playing the new Synchron spell card from Premium Pack in here as well. This card kind of comes in and out of these builds. Not necessarily saying that it's bad, but it's definitely got some interchangeability along the way that's going to be, you know, needing some little fine tuning and so forth. Next up, this is the list that made me just so shocked. I didn't think I would see a Tenpai Cool Tune list. But evidently, when your whole gimmick is just to rotate around the synchro axis and have an actual, like, gimmick to try to end the game, and I mean, let's call it what it is. The second commandeering battle phase is just pretty much going to be game over. And, you know, if your opponent sees you doing Cool Tune, you know, interactions and you're kind of building up that way, you know, whatever little tempi package that you've got in this build is just going to take your opponent off guard. Because I agree, like, looking at this is absolutely an incredibly scary deck to see. And I definitely didn't think I would be shocked to see this. But when your deck is able to do so many stupid things, also you have Synchro Emergency in here as well. So, you know, you can get those cool tune early plays to set up some disruption. Is really, really stupid. Also, only 2 gravity collapse, but you do have access to dimensional barriers. So interesting. Next up, we have Heroes. Karibo's level 10 Saboteur. And seeing a 40 card variant for this is actually kind of refreshing. They got Aqua Dolphin in this build as a 1-of, so you're basically able to kind of get the Congo line moving. It's kind of like the one thing I wanted to see, right? You just want that to be able to go. We got double contrast Hero Chaos. If you've been paying attention to contrast Hero Chaos also in the market, I would keep an eye on that thing because he's been moving along at some crazy numbers. I think the overall state of the hero deck right now, this is probably the most optimized build I've seen. You know, they're cutting out Plasma into the side deck, you know, and I know a lot of people try to like optimize on like higher numbers and things like that, but it's just not really worth it at this point. You know, I think just having the deck work out in the numbers that it needs to make sure that things are going is decent. And then we've got Runic. Holy crap, man. This is the pinnacle of Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't think that we would be seeing people use the Karibo to Karibo, but it does kind of present a little extra Congo line of bodies. It acts as a deck thinning pressure for you to be able to access, which is kind of nice. And that's kind of what Runic wants to have, honestly. Also, I mean, you have pretty much the entirety of the Dominus line set up for you. Obviously, judging by how this list is looking, it's interesting that they chose to play some of the rank 4 options they did when they could have probably expanded out some of the Runic capabilities a little bit more. But, you know, having the Karibos kind of be a little line for you to access is actually kind of good because, you know, sending a monster's attack to 0 does definitely get you some free W's. And then we have access to the Fairy Tale deck. I can't truly say this Fairy Tale because we got the Dark Magician package spliced on in here because once again, getting access to that Dark Magical Curtain and getting the entire deck turned on because of that is freaking crazy to me. I do see that they did choose to play Crowns in here. I guess having the defensive power or the offensive power, depending on how you want to go about that line, I think is just fine. In terms of what you would naturally be wanting to do with this, I think everything just kind of works out just fine for this. So congratulations to actually seeing, you know, Fairy Tale still doing its thing. I wish we had access to Fairy Tale Snow because it would make me a little bit more excited to want to play this package. But the OCG has definitely proven that Snow, I really don't think is as powerful as it used to be. And that's freaking crazy to say. Next up is Doomsies. Oh boy. I do truly miss the bamboo sword build, but in terms of what this deck's doing, you're just maximizing on the new pendulum scales and then bringing in one of each of the sub ones just to be able to have access to them. As you can see, I mean, we have one of the Exceed now. Yeah, that's right. We've cut back on the big guy himself because while he is an incredibly powerful card, at certain points he's just better to have in the back seat than in the front seat because you just want optimization to kind of keep things going. But I mean, having access to Electromite in this deck is also incredibly ignorant. But that's just the power that you get with the generic good stuff that you would expect with this deck. You know, everything just kind of floats through and does its job. So congratulations to yet again seeing a hilarious little interaction being proven by the wonderful world of Doomsy. This deck is incredibly ignorant. And then we have Radiant Typhoon with Witch of the Black Forest. Yes, you can stupidly link out the Witch of the Black Forest to bring out the whatever combo piece you're going to start, probably Artemis, and then trigger into a search, and then congratulations, as long as your card doesn't trigger the the requirements like the Yummies do, you're basically able to go through full combos. This is the same thing that we've been seeing time and time again with these lists. Dark Magical Curtain is a crazy card that's able to exploit and do some very, very broken things. So what do you guys think about these interesting choices in the meta? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in the later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.